I want to share with you something personal around the shame and the resistance that I had to move through to be able to ask for $55,000 agreements, and how I used my voice, working with my body, working with the land and water to expand my capacity for this. Because there is a new way of doing business, and some of us are wired to have higher price points. And when we don't honor that and we hold shame around that and resistance, we burn out, we fry, business can dry up because we're not owning the fullness of who we are. And this is really, really important right now for us to talk about, because there are so many of you frequency holders, vocal alchemists, change makers, and light workers that have been in like this starving artist mode because you're not putting yourself in the rooms, the spaces, and the frequencies to actually show you how to expand your capacity so that you can do your work and be resourced and give back to others. Because this is not just about, greed and other people thinking that, oh my gosh, I'm charging so much money, so I must be greedy, or it's coming from an egoic place. It's not, absolutely not. And I want to share with you a deeper story of how this came to be for me. So when I first started charging, it was at a very small amount, like from 300 to 3,000 to 5,000 to 10,000. Like it went up in increments, 15,000, 25,000. And the biggest quantum leap I had is when I went from 25,000 to 55,000, and I was approaching big time burnout. I was outgrowing clients. I was outgrowing how I was doing things. And I was called to go travel to Florida. And sorry, it's so hot out here right now. My phone, I hope it doesn't die from the heat, For those of you who don't know, it's like freaking 100 and feels like over 100 degrees in New York. We're getting a heat wave right now. So anyways, I was guided to go to Florida and to spend some time with family and to work along the East Coast and the West Coast with the waters. The waters are so important for me. When I work with the ocean, I feel so connected to myself, and it always expands me and it recharges me in ways that I cannot explain. So I went and I was doing grid work all along the East Coast of Florida and some of the West Coast. And I was having a dip in my business. I wasn't moving the way I was being guided to move. I had resistance around charging and asking for more and playing at a bigger level. I was going through, who am I to do this? How are people even going to understand this? Because so much of my work is vocal alchemy and working with the body and your energy and strategy, but in very unique ways that it's very, very hard to explain. But if you've been in my world, there's nothing like it. And it shifts people on a cellular level so that they start doing things that they would have never done before, if they are open to receive it, if they're devoted to the work and they're committed to the work. So not many people, let's just be real, are actually committed to this path. Not many people can hold the energy that it takes to be a pioneer and a new earth leader. People collapse under the pressure and under the tension. It's not easy to put yourself out there in your unique genius and take all those projections. It's not for the faint of heart. And so many people want instant gratification, so they give up. So, I was getting burnt out. I was like, where are the people that really, really want to build, that really want to do this work? So my income was going down. Everything was going down. And I started channeling the Build Your Brand Blueprint technology program, okay? This was years ago, by the way. It started coming through then. And that's what I actually had to use to start attracting soulmate clients, to start charging what I wanted to charge, to start creating offers that felt expansive and good to me, to start feeling more empowered in my flow. So that started coming through. And same thing with like the business energetics and the auric field building. While I was at the ocean, all of that information came through and I started doing it myself. And at this point, I was guided while I was doing this, downloading and doing all this work and restoring myself. I was guided not to take on any more one-on-one clients, right? It was just like, you are pausing, you are recalibrating, and you're getting this new technology that you're going to start using. I didn't know how I was going to use it, right? So when I got back from Florida, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, money is low. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to do all the things that I need to do? Oh my God, what is happening? You know, like all the stress. Because one part of the story was before that up level, I increased my expenses. I expanded my life. I went into a nicer place. I bought a nicer vehicle. So now I had more to maintain, right? So yes, my income was higher than it was before, but I took on more to maintain. I know so many of you could probably relate to this, right? So I get an application from a woman who I worked with her husband, and she wants to work with me. Now I worked with her husband. We were close. He signed up for multiple rounds of mentorship with me. And I was like, God, am I taking on any more people? You told me not to. Yes, you're going to take this one on. Okay. I was channeling back then. I was channeling what custom mentorship would look like. I was tuning into what the person needs, how long that would be, in a certain program. Everything was custom for them. How much we would meet. Would there be Telegram support? Would we meet in person? All of, what was I getting myself into? What was at the foundational root? Because often it's not what somebody thinks that they need. They come to me because they think they need something, but what they really need is completely different. And they get exactly what they need. So anyways, at the biggest point before her, I charged $25,000 to work with me. Okay, that was the biggest container I did. And so I was like, okay, I downloaded what it would be, what it would look like, and I heard $55,000. And I'm like, no fucking way. No fucking way. I did not even charge her husband even anywhere near that. And no, I know these people. No way. I am not doing that. And it was no, $55,000. And I kept meditating on it. I actually went to my mentor about it. I went to some of my intuitive friends about it. And I'm like, they're like, no, 55,000 that's the number. And it felt, I couldn't go higher. I couldn't go lower. It was the exact price. It was the strangest feeling. It just sat in my heart and it was like, boom, that's what it is. And so I meditated on it longer. I was kind of going back and forth with myself because I was like, who am I to charge this? What am I going to deliver? What is going to happen in this container? What kind of energy am I holding? I started asking all of these questions. And so I'll tell you something. We got on a call and I presented it to her and I was like, this is what it is. No questions. Okay, great. She wired me the money. It was the easiest mentorship, easiest closure, and it was so fulfilling for both of us. So life-changing. Felt like serving soul family. It was so freaking easy. And I say this to you because when you're wired to charge more, It's because the transformation you're providing, and it gets to be that easy. And so every time I downplay, and I'm going through this right now, I'm going through this shift right now. Every time I lower my prices because I don't want to leave someone behind, or I give all these discounted rates, there's a part of my energy that gets depleted, and I don't get the turnout the way that it's supposed to be, because I am supposed to be bringing in clients that are really ready to invest in themselves and do the work. And I had shame around this, guys. I even had shame about coming on here, sharing this story. And I released that fully now. You know, there's shame at all different levels with money. There's shame talking about when there's really big lows in your business. I mean, I have had things happen in this season where I've had the lowest amount of signups compared to how I used to fill some of my programs. And I say that to you because I want to normalize that when we're not necessarily owning our full power, our full gifts, what we're designed to charge, how we're designed to show up, how we're designed to speak in this world. Our visibility isn't bringing those soulmate clients forth as much. So I share this with you because I am also hosting the 7-day Build Your Brand Blueprint Accelerator technology. There is actually a way deeper dive into this inside the Hive, my 12-month hybrid mentor mastermind. But here, there's like this fresh energy coming in right now. Can you feel it? Because things need to shift. And sometimes maybe it's not about you charging more. Everybody's wired different. We all have what we're wired to charge. But it's releasing shame around asking for it, inviting people in. Asking for it and inviting people in, and shame about talking about it. I want to know in the comments if you've had shame around elevating your numbers, or shame when your numbers are really low and you don't want anybody to know and talk about it. I think we need to normalize this. Normalize the fluctuations in business. Sorry, like there's all these kids riding their bikes right now. Yeah. So I want to give some light language to help those of you who are carrying shame around money, your business, whether it's being embarrassed to talk about money or asking for more money, or there's shame that more money isn't flowing and you're not where you want to be. Whatever it is. Let's close our eyes. Let's come into our heart space. Elama sotoroma I karai sotoroma asala I toro oskina mahacha tarai melahayan ho. Let it go. Motoro sokoroma I chatarama I tarai emarahatara. Go ahead and place your left hand over your heart. Motoro sotoroma achatara itarai. Anchor in to your bones. Motoroma itarai, to the bones of your ankles. Etoroma I in your metatarsals. Moshokarama atarai tarai tarai tarai. Elama uskudoma ichatara itoroma asatarai. Take a deep breath in. And exhale out the mouth. You are worthy to receive. You are worthy to receive. Alasatone ma ayana itotoroko sototo machitarea ononoma askala itoroma itare ikormo umwa ayana atara ikoroma asatare itototoshkila mahatara i. You are worthy to receive. Do you feel that? Mila ino konoma atara I in your heart. You can let go of all the ways that you downplay your power. Let's turn the dial up on your voice and your power. And like I said yesterday, I'm doing this challenge with Regan Hillier. If you want to be part of it and share more of what's on your heart and release any shame or ways that you edit yourselves, you can just comment below louder and I'll send you the link. I want to know how you're feeling after this conversation too in the comments. I want to know if you have shame around how your business is going, how money is flowing, of the changes you need to make. There's so much happening right now. And I think it's so important for us to share when it gets heavy on our hearts, when we meet up with resistance and we're being guided to do something different. If I didn't listen and I didn't trust and I never had the courage to ask, can you imagine? Like, I wouldn't have been able to serve this beautiful woman and her family. And then I wouldn't even have known what is possible for me. So sometimes when you're asked, sorry, it's so hot out here. When you're asked to go even bigger, you gotta honor it. God would not give you that number if it wasn't meant for you. And see, it gets to be so much easier too if you're wired to charge that way. Or if you're wired to charge smaller numbers and you're doing it differently, you know, it's all different for us. But just honor it, because that's when it becomes easier. I'm sending you all so much love. Feel free to share this with anybody that you think needs to hear this message or that little light language transmission. And I'm just sending you so much vibrant blue energy to light up your heart, to light up your field, so you are extra magnetic as you build. And there's still time to join my 7-day accelerator. Just DM me Blueprint if you're interested, or head to the link in my bio. Mwah.